$60 million contract this offseason. Expectations are high for Dak and company. LaVar, does Dallas need to make a deep playoff run this year for this season to be a success? Deep.
Thank you. They do not, Chris Broussard, have to make a deep run into the playoffs to have a successful year. They've already had a successful offseason. I mean, you look at what they did in the draft, addressing the needs on the defensive side of the ball, not to go any deeper or further than Micah Parsons out of Penn State at that linebacker's position, who's going to be amazing for them. But they also addressed their secondary. And what was even more interesting was them addressing their defensive end needs with bringing in Osa Odigizui. And Chauncey Golston out of Iowa, who plays some serious football, real edge setting defensive end. So I look at this team. They put the right pieces in play. You brought in Quinn, second year for McCarthy. I look for them to challenge for the NFC East division, obviously, make it to the playoffs. That's a success if they're able to accomplish that. They do not have to go any further than that for it to be a successful year, guys.
What is it about this show where I have guys who are making convincing arguments for the opposite position that they are taking? For all the reasons that you just gave me, LaVar, my expectations are high for the Dallas Cowboys. Not just because I believe 1,000% in what the Cowboys are, but when I look at the NFC in general and the division in particular, they're both unsettled as much as they're going to be. I mean, yes, we have the Tampa Bay Bucks back with their 22 starters. They're still the team to beat without question. But after that, there are questions galore. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be in Green Bay? What's Green Bay going to be like with him? Same thing with Russell Wilson in Seattle. The New Orleans Saints, what are they going to do now that Drew Brees is out of town? And then you look at the division in itself. Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, Ryan Fitzpatrick in Washington, Daniel Jones in New York. It is wide open for them to make a run. And if they don't now, that Dak Prescott contract nearly doubles in terms of a cap hit over the next 2 years. So they better get after it while they can, because everything is set up for them to have the opportunity right now. And I don't know that it's going to get better. It's not that I'm a big believer in the Cowboys. I just look at everything else, and I'm thinking this is the best shot that they've got.
I got to say, I'm in agreement with Rick again. You know, I'm treating the Cowboys like Dogecoin this year. I am all in. This is an opportunity, guys, to get in low on Dallas. 9.5 is the win total, LaVar. I showed the schedule earlier. Could we call the schedule back? Rick, you'll laugh at this. The Dallas Cowboys schedule, look at those first 7 games. They play one team that did anything last year. Look at the quarterbacks that they face. It's a bunch of average to below average guys. Cowboys are paying Dak like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Okay, look at the rest of the division, LaVar. You have Jalen Hurts and a rookie coach in Philadelphia. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who historically turns into a pumpkin the year after he does anything. Okay, and then in the other team, the New York Giants, Danny Dimes. Come on, does anybody trust him? I think he leads the league in turnovers the last 3 years. This is set up for Dallas to be an 11-win team, host a playoff game. And they better get to the second round, or McCarthy could find himself on the hot seat.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, listen, go ahead,
Here's
Chris.
the thing, though, J-Mac, and I agree. Their schedule is not very tough. There's only a couple world beaters on there, Tampa Bay and Kansas City. That's it.
Yeah.
And they need to clean up their division. But unlike most of all you guys, I'm going to be definitive, all right? I'm going to define some terms for clarity for our audience's sake. Number one, getting deep in the playoffs is the NFC title game.
Right.
They don't have to get that far. All right. What they do need to do is win the division and win a playoff game. So to the second round of the playoffs. If they don't win the division, they need to be the wild card and again win that first round playoff game and get to the second round. But they should win the division. If they don't win the division, that is a sad precursor. That is sorry. They should win it. Look, Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in that division. He's got tons of receivers to throw to. He's got good running backs. He's got injured players coming back healthy on the offensive line. They drafted their first 6 draft picks were defensive players. They got a new defensive coordinator. The Dallas Cowboys better win the NFC East. Because if they don't, it says they're not a very good football team. So they win that, and then they get to the second round. That's a good year.
Broussard, I wish the hell I had you and LaVar as teachers when I was growing up. Because the curve that you guys grade on is amazing. Like, you know what? I expect this, but if you only do this, it's okay. It's still an A. What? You guys both explained why the Cowboys should have high expectations, and then you're saying, yeah, but you know what? If you don't win the division, it's okay. Just win a wild card game. No, the opportunity has never been better. You're paying Dak Prescott like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes in order to win a wild card game? I don't think so. The idea is they're playing for the conference championship minimum. And if they don't get there this year, then it can't be labeled anything other than a disappointment.
Rick Bucher, you have to know what type of students you have in the classroom when making sure what the grading curve is. Do you realize that we had no scholars in our classroom with the Dallas Cowboys, meaning 0 Pro Bowlers, 0 All-Pros. So don't give me this, I wish I was in your class so I could get that. Man, ain't nobody trying to hear that, man. I'm not trying to hear that. This team will, when expectations aren't met, that's just you came up short on what you wanted your standard and your expectation to be. But that does not mean that you failed. That does not mean that you did not have a level of success. This team has not been to the playoffs but 2 times during the course of Dak Prescott's time in Dallas and 1 time making it into a divisional round. I do not look at them as being a Super Bowl contender out of the gate, which means that that's a deep playoff run if they're contending for a Super Bowl at the end of the season. I do think that they can win the NFC East. I think Washington is in the driver's seat to win it, but I do think they can win the East. I do think that they can make it into the playoffs and possibly as a wild card or as a home team, divisional team, win their first game. That's a success. If they get anything less than that, then expectations and success were missed for the course of this season for the Dallas Cowboys.
I love the no scholars in Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott, yeah, he's not good. Amari Cooper.
Wasn't a Pro Bowler.
All these guys are first-round picks.
Wasn't a Pro Bowler.
LaVar,
Didn't go to the Pro Bowl.
Coming up next, we have an update on the Tebow timeline. Don't go anywhere.